Well, good morning. This is Jagendra Rana. Today we are taking up legal case studies on death claim. Legal case studies on death claim. This is a case of Bhubaneswar Ombudsman Center. Complaint number 0019 SB claim Shri Himanshu Bhushan Nanda versus LIC of India, Cuttack. Facts of the case says the complainant received first survival benefit on 27 March 2014, which was due on 3rd or you can say March 2010. On inquiry, he was informed that OP paid due SB amount of rupees 50,000 through check, though check being handed over to LIC agent, who instead of handing over the check to him, returned to the OP. So the complainant claimed interest for delay payment, but the OP did not respond. On the other hand, the OP filed SCN and stated that the branch prepared first SB check on 28th March 2010 and it was received by the agent Sri Pratap Kumar Das. The agent did not hand over the check to the policyholder and the check became stale in due course of time. However, finally it was paid along with the second SB claim through NEFT on 27th March 2014. Now, on a minute scrutiny of the available documents, it is found that the policy commenced on 28 March 2006 for a sum assured of rupees 5 lakh. Now, having policy term 20 years, it is quite apparent from the fact of the policy bond that survival benefit is payable for policy term 20 years at the rate of 10% of the sum assured at the end of each 4th, 8th, 12th and 16th policy year. Now, calculated on that basis, the first survival benefit of rupees 50,000 fell due on 28th March 2010. Admittedly, the OP caused inordinate delay in making payment of the first survival benefit and paid it on 27th March 2014. So, obviously, the insurer is liable to pay interest on the said amount to the complainant with effect from 28th March 2010 till the date of actual payment, that is 27th March 2014 at a rate of 2% above the bank rate prevalent in the beginning of the relevant financial year. Now, taking into account the facts and circumstances of the case and the submissions made by both the parties during the course of hearing, appropriate interest as indicated above is hereby awarded to be paid by the insurer to the insured towards full and final settlement of the claim. Hence, the complaint is treated as allowed accordingly. Let's see second case. This is again Bhubaneswar Ombudsman Center, complaint number 95, SB claim, Shri Dilip Kumar Das versus LIC of India, Bhubaneswar. Here the facts of the case are slightly different. The complainant did not receive the first survival benefit from OP, which was due on 28 February 2011. So he wrote to OP for payment of the said survival benefit. Unfortunately, there was no response. Finding no alternative, he approached this forum. On the other hand, the OP filed SCN and stated that the aforesaid SB claim was paid in advance on 15 January 2011 through check, but the check was fraudulently encashed by another Dilip Kumar Das. In such circumstances, the SB amount of rupees 5,000 and delayed interest of rupees 2,494 totaling to rupees 7,494 has already been paid to the complainant through NEFT. Now, it is quite apparent from the document placed for perusal that on 21st 11 of 21st November 2015, a sum of rupees 7494 has been paid to complainant in respect of the aforesaid policy. Also, the complainant himself admits to have received the amount. He reiterates that he has no further grievance against the OP. The grievance has already been resolved. In the meanwhile, the complaint deserves dismissal. Taking into account the facts and circumstances of the case and the submissions made by both the parties during the course of hearing, the complaint is treated as dismissed, being already resolved satisfactorily. Third case of Ombudsman. The complainant had taken a money-back policy from the OP in March 2011 for a term of 16 years. So, as per terms and conditions of the policy, the OP had to pay certain percentage of sum assured as money back on completion of every fourth year. Accordingly, the first money back was due on March 2015, but the OP did not pay him the money back due in March 2015 in spite of repeated complaint to the local office of the OP. He did not get any response. So finally he took shelter of this forum to redress his grievance. On the other hand, the OP filed SCN and stated that the claimed amount of rupees 7,500 had already paid to the complainant through NEFT. So as it appears, the claimed amount of rupees 7,500 has already been paid by the insurer to the complainant through NEFT. So perhaps in view of such payment, the complainant does not come forward to ventilate his grievance further. Since the money back amount has already been paid, the complainant has no further grievance. Thus the complaint deserves dismissal. Good case. And now the next one. The cases are of the similar nature, but there seems to be some differentiation because the merits of the case are different. This is another 337 number case, Mr. Prithviraj Rao versus Messrs. LIC of India. So the complainant had taken a life insurance money back policy from OP on 10th February 2011, and the first money back was due on 11th February 2014. He did not receive any payment from the OP for this at due. In spite of his repeated letters, there was no response from the OP. Being frustrated, he approached this forum to redress his grievance. On the other hand, the OP filed SCN and submitted that due to the change of address of the complainant, after retirement, the money back check of Rs 7,500 for 11 February 2014 due returned undelivered. However, after getting the correct address, the OP had already paid Rs 7,500 by check number such and such, so the complaint may be dropped. On scrutiny of available papers, particularly the policy conditions, it is found that the OP has to pay first survival benefit at a certain date on completion of 3-year term. So accordingly, the first SB was due on 11th February 2014. Due to retirement of the complainant from the service, he shifted his place of residence from Etawah, UP to Bulandshahr in 2012, and the same was not intimated to the OP. So the first survival benefit of Rs 7,500 in check returned undelivered. However, it is quite apparent from the payment details that in the meanwhile the OP has made payment of the first SB due through check dated 4th December 2015, and the complainant has already encashed it on 17th December 2015. Since the grievance of the complainant has already been resolved, there is no need to proceed further. In such circumstances, the complainant deserves dismissal. So this is the kind of cases normally filed before the Ombudsman and decided in a manner that the benefit goes either to the insured or they are settled promptly to redress the grievance. Here is another case related to the maturity claim of the Bhubaneswar Ombudsman Center. The fact is that the complainant had taken 6 policies from LIC under the later salary saving scheme. Other policies matured, but claims were not settled. In case of some policies, survival benefit due was not settled, and the complainant contended that Bolangir BO of the OP should transfer the premium amount to its Bhubaneswar BO second to enable payment of his dues. In its self-contained note, the OP insurer stated that as all the policies were under salary saving scheme, the premiums were intermitted to different branch offices of it. In some cases also inappropriate amounts were remitted. However, the insurers presented a detailed chart and policy-wise in the self-contained note where it had reconciled the position and made payments to the complainants. Now the Ombudsman passed an award that at hearing both parties attended and the insurer's representatives handed over the checks to the complainant in respect of the payable cases mentioned in the SCN. So the complainant also confirmed receipt of the checks. The Honorable Ombudsman observed as the insurer has settled the claim of the complainant under different policies along with interest of the delay wherever applicable. The grievance of the complainant has thus redressed, and in the result, the complaint is treated as allowed for statistical purposes. Thank you very much.